Debate's obviously over now. You know, we've heard for 2 hours. We haven't heard much specifics, but we've heard a lot. What are people going to be taking from this? What are they going to be actually talking about? Were there any standout lines, any huge flubs, anything that, like we know from the happy hour debate, everybody's saying, oh, it's Carly Fiorina, fuck all the rest. Carly Fiorina did a really good job. That seems to be the lesson that people are taking instantly. Is there a standout stance or attack or anything that is going to last past the next weekend and shape the debate?
I think Trump's squirming about Clinton. I think Trump's squirming about his Democrat-itis from earlier in his life. I think Trump's bad answers on abortion. I think Trump. I think that is largely
weakness.
That's all that people outside, most of the people who watch this watch for Trump. That's all they're going to care about.
Trump talking about his bankruptcies and how he's just taking advantage of the laws that are available.
That's right. Those are nice. Those two. And so, and I don't think any of us should. I think we're fools if we sit here and determine that we know now how this is going to affect Donald Trump, because I'm beyond predicting how stuff with him plays. I don't. You think he's going to get a bump? I think he'll go down.
I think he did okay for him. So I think people want to hear him swearing at Chinese and foreigners. They want to hear him swearing at foreigners.
And maybe Megyn Kelly, she is a woman.
And being they want to see him be misogynist. The clip that I think that people are going to like from this is him saying we're too fucking politically incorrect. We got this. I got have time to worry about that shit.
That was the perfect.
Yes, please say the N-word sometime in your life.
Right, totally. You know,
that's true. I forgot about that. That is going to be a huge.
So the Trump stuff will be all that stuff. I mean, look, and
so I'm right.
But that said, there's an old standard in presidential politics that if you're asking people to elect you president, you got to project positivity, right? You got to project hope, a sense that you might say things suck, but we are going forward and we are going to win. And Donald Trump closed with,
can't do it.
We're horrible, we suck, we're pathetic, we're losers, we're a bunch of dumb losers.
You're never going to be nobody.
Right, and I think that is... Like, I think the more that Trump gets long exposure, the more we'll see that he has hit some definite wall. I just don't think there's room for growth, because keep in mind that guy, the upside down positive negative on Trump is still staggering for a guy running for president.
He has high negatives.
Yeah, he's hugely high negatives, and you know, whereas Hillary Clinton's beaten Rand Paul by 5 and Jeb Bush by 6 and another guy by 3, she's beaten Trump by 16.
Yeah. And we can't forget, of course, the way that this began. That was do you all pledge that you will support the actual nominee and you won't run as a third-party candidate? Yeah. And he very specifically said, I'm going to go through with this debate, but if I lose it, I am definitely going to sink any Republican chance.
And for the political class, that's going to be
they're going to be pissed.
That's the main talking point. I think so.
Well, because just a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, he flip-flopped in the space of 24 hours, saying he wouldn't do it to saying he would do it, and now he's very much on the record in a very easily identifiable way. And they were right. Megyn Kelly actually accurately reported, I think it was Megyn Kelly, maybe it was Chris Wallace, on the actual stats. They would lose if he does that. There is almost no chance the Republicans will win if he does that. And he doesn't care.
Yeah.
And he said he didn't
because
care.
he makes the phone call. They do what he wants anyway, right? What does he give a shit about? He doesn't really want to be president.
Why does he want to be president anyway?
I don't think he really wants to be president.
I don't think so either. I don't think so. He doesn't want that job.
No.
The worst job in the world.
They'll be investigating him. He'll go to jail.
They'll do the before and after. His toupee will go white in a year.
Also,
he'll probably replace it though.
His frown, like there's a limit. Nobody's paying attention to this. So the guy who's a huge celebrity, we talked about this, one of the, what do you think? I said he's one of the 25 most famous people in America.
But Donald Trump?
Yeah, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Easy,
he beat Khloe Kardashian.
He's been famous since 1980. I mean, it's not like he just got, Kardashian just got, he's been famous for, old people know him, young people know him, everybody knows him.
And we know the real contenders for the presidency are Scott Walker, Marco Rubio, Jeb Bush, maybe some people thought Chris Christie, maybe Kasich now. I don't think so. I think still vice president.
Maybe Fiorina, she might.
No, man. As Michael Schur said before the thing, everybody's talking about how Carly Fiorina kicked ass for an hour, and then the other debate started, and now we're done talking about Carly Fiorina.
That's true, but this might be just enough that when Ben Carson almost certainly drops out, I think he is done after this debate. He was going back to talking about, man, God, it was great being a surgeon. But maybe then in the second debate, maybe she's the 10th person.
So, but just remember, so when you get a call from a pollster and they ask you to rank these candidates, and and you're apathetic, you're like, yeah, Bush again, and you almost haven't heard of any of the other guys, and then one of them is Donald Trump, and you go, that guy's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I like that guy, right? And so you pick Donald Trump, but that doesn't mean you're voting for Donald Trump for president, and when other people start paying attention. So he's going to hit that wall, whether it's in a month or 2 months. I hope it's before 3 months, because that's
I
what
think
my
it's
bet is
before
with
a
Jenk.
month.
And
I think it's weeks.
You think it's weeks?
I
I
don't know when the second debate is, but-
I don't know how to call it. I mean, he's somewhere between 19 and 26, and if it's 19, then he's easily catchable. If it's 26, then that's a pretty big number, depending on which poll.
I
you
want
look
to
at.
do a poll on if people think that your hair is more bouncy and full of body than ever before. Because,
That would be a fun poll.
Right?
It's looking real nice tonight.
Yeah, I think
it is
real nice.
I think
Look at that.
comment of the debate was when.
Can I get a tight shot? Jesus.
Do the signature Ben fluff. I love it.
Jesus.
The one hand fluff.
Oh, sorry.
That's my favorite.
I like this. Like first, sometimes I think I don't like this, but then I think sometimes it works.
It looks good
All right,
tonight.
thank
it
you.
it makes you look a little bit like a Tarzan.
Well, I'm glad that they dedicated at least 10 minutes of the debate to talking about God instead of climate change or, I mean, when you talk about real imminent threats to not only our country but the world, I don't know, climate change would be one of them, right?
Yeah.
You
But
would
they
think
didn't talk
climate
about
change
that
would
at
come
all.
up. Maybe the minimum wage
I
would
just
come up.
tweeted. I've had some success already. Well done, Fox. Great questions on climate change, the Koch brothers campaign finance reform, and oh yeah, none of those things.
They did talk about money in politics, but they talked about it favorably.
Yes.
At least Trump did.
Yeah.
He's like, I just pay the politicians and they do what I want.
So
Hillary
bribes,
Clinton
woo!
came into my
By the way,
wedding.
that was a super interesting answer, wasn't it?
Right, it
Yes.
was. I actually like that. I like that he was very transparent about a huge issue that we have in our country right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did they talk much about? I don't think they mentioned capital punishment at all. I
No.
don't think
No.
normally they would use that as a big applause line. There was no real.
More
like,
of it, more of it,
law and
more of it,
order.
more of it. Love it, love it a
know,
lot,
but-
love it a lot. Can we do it right now?
Like none of them really fell back on the whole law and order thing. Like Walker said something about maybe we should train the police to not instantly
Yeah.
shoot every black person they see, but we should support them
them.
in what they do.
Right.
And when torture was brought up, Ben Carson wouldn't even
Acknowledge.
acknowledge that he'd put it back into effect. Yeah, I mean it's a different tact. Like they're not just falling back to the old law and order sort of approach.
Well, maybe
to
the
Republican
next,
campaigning.
maybe I don't know. I'm sure. I remember last time, didn't they? Hey, this debate's going to cover foreign policy and economic. The next one's going to cover socialist. I mean, don't they do it that way? Wasn't this?
I think
In
not-
the,
not in this.
in the general election.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
last
but not
time.
this?
I don't think they did.
They
Maybe
could,
they
I
will in the
suppose,
future,
later.
maybe.
But I mean, we're 17 guys running.
Yeah, they need to
we
cull
gotta,
that down.
Yeah.
We got to get the Gilmore Girls out.
That's
and
true. We need to figure out. We need to do like we've got the Freak 16, which I'm sure he'll update after this. But I wonder what the order of dropping out is going to be. Like I'm predicting that Ben Carson is probably going
Ben
to give
Carson
up.
has to be the first one to drop
Yeah,
out.
I would assume at least half of the B list is probably going to find that their polls don't go up after this.
There's guys like Jim Gilmore and John Kasich. Some of the thought was they're there to run for vice president. They're from critically important states, Virginia for Jim Gilmore and Ohio for Kasich. Again, Gilmore got in late. Kasich is running like Kasich finished 10th, Gilmore 17th. There's not really that much difference. Gilmore needs an opportunity to, and I think Kasich did well. So some of those guys are in it, to be picked to be vice president.
So they need to hang around for a little while.
They need to hang around. I mean, the right now, I always thought Scott Walker was kind of, Scott Walker has a way of portraying himself as not loathsome. If you don't
know anything about him.
anything about him, right. And so
Right.
that's what worries me about Scott
Yeah.
Walker.
He
but now,
really looks dumb though.
but like right now, I don't want to have to run against Marco Rubio and John Kasich. Like that team, I don't. Florida and Ohio, and they're both young, but a serious guy as his vice president.
Oh,
like
that does
Biden.
sound like a good ticket, huh?
That's a ticket. That's a real ticket.
Yeah.
Marco Rubio can be exposed because I don't think he's that bright.
Right.
But that said, he's competent enough. He'll just get better. He'll just get better.